Evolutionary, episode 632 is coming your way. Today's special episode, we have an interview with Aussie EVO, the legendary Pigsy, the real deal. So this is going to be a great episode, guys. We are going to talk about the Oz Forum. We're going to talk about how the Oz market is different. We're going to talk about Pigsy's log. His log that he has going right now is called Pigsy's Journal, the Legend with UGL Oz 2026. But he has several different logs. Amazing logger. He's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 6 or 7 logs that he's done. You can go on his signature on the forum. If you search for him on the top right of the evolutionary.org forum, you could search by member and just put in Pigsy, Pigsy, and you can pull up his posts. And then in his post, in his signature, you can pull up his logs. So his most current log is the one that we're going to touch on. And we're also going to maybe touch on his favorite steroids and that sort of thing. We're talking about his farming, his grapes. We're going to talk about tips and tricks for bodybuilding. And we're also going to touch on, if we have time, his favorite logs. So there's a lot to get to. Let me remind everyone, we are on Apple. We are on Spotify. Please hit a like, smash the like button, sub. Tell your friends and family. We want to grow this podcast organically. We want to grow it the right way. We don't use clickbait. We don't pay for likes or any of that nonsense. We do it the right way. So with that said, appreciate Pigsy coming on. Thanks for coming on, buddy. It's good to see you.
It's great to come on this podcast. I listened to a lot of the other podcasts while working and stuff, and they've all been very good, and it's good to see other people's stories and how they got involved in the Evo family.
Yes, sir. So Mobster, go ahead. I want to thank you, Pigsy, for all the work you do on the forum. Mobster, as well.
Yeah. So exactly what Steve's just said. We, the bosses, the forum, and myself and Steve, are thanking you for coming on today, but especially not just for being on the show today. The way that we've noticed as a forum, and especially the moderators of the last few years and the bosses, obviously, notice the work that you've been doing in the background, notice the work that you were doing over on the Oz forum specifically, but now on the whole of the forum. And obviously, something that's been clear from the last 3-4 shows that we've done, the growth of the Evo community vibe has increased again and again and again, not just because of these shows, but specifically because of guys like yourself becoming VIPs, becoming moderators, sort of moving Evo along, and your assistance in that particular regard. We want to express our gratitude for that as well. So thank you just for that on that particular note, Pigsy. Thank you very much.
No, that's very, very, very good. Really, really enjoy being part of the Evo family from when I've started beginning back in in 2017, joining and then creating my first log. So it's been a big journey since then.
You've probably been on about as long as what I have, Pigsy. I think I'm up to 7-8 years. It might be slightly longer, but I think you came just after me. So obviously, we're out there kicking ass, mate, but people have noticed you're out there kicking ass. And I think that's the main reason that the bosses have asked me to say thank you today, mate. So listen, let's dive right on in. Tell us a little bit about yourself before you come onto the forum, your stats, what you do, your height, etc., etc. This again would be for new listeners, so they get an idea of who Pigsy is before we start to talk to you about the work on the forum and your sector and all the rest of that stuff.
Well, I was 56 years old as of last month. I'm weighing at the moment in the morning about 109 kilos. And I'm just keep it in the imperial measurements. 5'8". So there I'd be started training back in 2016 when I saw myself as I saw a picture of myself, family picture, and I looked like a mess, totally overweight, wasn't happy with life, things like that.
Yeah, we alcoholic. See on some of your earlier logs, we can see how you were before. How much did you weigh before? Because you're 110
I
kilograms
was
now.
in
What were you before? Do you remember?
the 130 kilos.
Okay, so
Wow.
60 kilos more, which is times
Good.
2.2 would
Yeah,
be
it's around
132 more
60
pounds.
pounds. Yeah,
No,
about 60
about
pounds from where I am now.
60 pounds, yeah.
60,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
It weighs about 240 pounds now, Steve, about 190.
But now you're muscular, a muscular 110
Oh,
kilograms.
please, yeah.
That's a big
absolutely.
difference, yeah. So your body fat
Yeah,
before,
yeah.
how much would you say it was? Was it close to 30% or more?
It would be well over 30.
Oh, okay. Wow. Okay.
Yeah, well over. Yeah, yeah.
So you looked at yourself in the
Yeah,
mirror
you
and
wouldn't see any definition anywhere. Put it
so
that way.
so what happened there? You looked at yourself in the mirror one day, you're just like, I've had enough of this shit.
Photograph, yeah.
That's sort of what happened, yes. And then I never had I only had a little bit of equipment here, and then I decided to join up to a 24/7 gym.
Mm.
So I started training there, and then I met a guy there named Ash, and he sort of took me under his wing. So, you know, he was he's what, 1 or 2 years older than me, and he's like virtually 2 weeks from competition out all year round. So he taught me diet, training, and also his philosophy on life. It sort of helped as well.
The mental side, I
Yeah.
think something I talk to gym users, and I occasionally talk about this on the shows, saying we literally this morning had someone come into the gym that's like a couple of our recent interviews, been abusing drugs and alcohol, specifically alcohol, but a little bit of drugs. And I said to him, the time that you spend in the gym is probably your escape. It stops you thinking about any, because he's just literally stopped drinking and taking drugs. So obviously you're going to have that sort of withdrawal thing going on. And the idea almost of coming to church and focusing on yourself, and specifically, as you've just talked about, Pigsy, your improvement and transforming how you look and being able to keep you in that mindset is where people like that can assist you, because the training stuff and almost the nutrition stuff is kind of out there for everybody. But getting your head in the right space is the hardest thing for people to do, and especially just coming to the gym and doing that stuff. I'd actually argue, Pigsy, that's kind of what you've done in your own way. You've taken the information that you've been given and you've actually been putting that out into the world via Evolutionary yourself by motivating people, by getting them to come round and be focused and get over their own particular issues. So that's something that you're giving back at as well.
Yeah, well, I find that helping out people and everything is what it's all about. Helping others and seeing others succeed is amazing. That's why I like the transformation logs.
Yes.
I read I wrote those a lot, you know, from you know, people's total change in life is good, you know, not just the body improvements, but the mental improvements, everything. There's
a certain putting out into the world and getting some of that back. I've forgotten the actual phraseology that's used, but one of the things we said at the end of the shows a couple of times, I think Stevesmi has said a couple of times, is we want people to succeed. We want our advice, hopefully useful, to be something that's transformed people's lives. And when we get some of these guys that have had drug and alcohol issues come on, and they've turned their life around just by going to the gym, that's a positive. When you see the physiques, that's a positive. When you see that their diets and training's been sorted, and again, like I said, that's something I think that we appreciate you doing as well. So that's part of that. The fact that you transformed yourself from where you was 130 plus kilos down to 109 kilos, so 45, 46 pounds, something like that, maybe more, certainly in terms of the body fat you lost. I've got to say for the listeners, especially new listeners, the photographs that Pigsy puts up of his fucking physique would blow your mind compared to where he probably was before with the wedding picture or the family photograph, etc. And he's seriously muscular for the height and stuff that he does. He is what we would describe in the 80s and 90s as a hardcore, freaky looking bodybuilder who's maybe not on fucking stage or whatever. So I think that's kind of around your radar. But certainly a big muscular fella, and you would absolutely sort of, this is a guy that's serious about his shit. Talk a little bit, just to say, change the subject a little bit here. We said this to Pigsy in the pre-show. There are parts of this that might be disruptable, should I say? But talk a little bit about the difficulty of getting PEDs, the Oz market, the Oz sector, and to a lesser degree, the Oz forum. So talk a little bit about that, where you're comfortable, for the benefit of people, because most of our listeners are American, not Australian.
Mm. Well, here in Australia, it's very difficult to research, finding at first where to go and everything like that. Because normally, you just go to the gym and then you'd ask around and everything. But then buying off a gym mate, you'd be paying doubles. So say a vial of test from, say, UGL is around $70, $80. Well, buying from a person from the gym, you'd be paying double. So what's that, $150 to $180? And the quality of that,
that's about £40
from a gym bro, you don't know, So
just to get for the American listeners, I'm just doing the maths in the American listeners. Sorry, that's about 40 US to about 80 or 120 US. 80, 120 US is about.
That's grocery bills. That's some grocery bills right there.
That's what it used to be 10, 15 years ago. So definitely much harder because getting older products.
So that's why it's important to join these sort of platforms, Evo, with the Aussie section, and because we could, really look into the Aussie section, the vendors there, making sure that they're trustworthy, their products are good. Occasionally you'll get one or two that fall away, but in the main, we have some good suppliers there at the moment.
It felt very volatile.
It
felt very volatile 5-6 years ago. But
if you followed it a few years back, it was it was very, very.
You guys, in fact, I think you've been actually part of the guys that have got yourself, and I'm thinking one of our other moderators have actually been really, really good at getting a standard for the suppliers to sort of adhere to, making sure they didn't come on unless they were absolutely recommended and backed up. And anybody that's fucked up is gone or put on hold or whatever else. And people said, don't buy from them until this thing is sorted out. And I think that is one of the things that yourself and one of our moderators has done very, very well in getting structured.
Because before I joined up the forum, I got stung, I think, for, what's that, just over 1,000 US. So you learn your lesson. I think you probably find 90% of the members there have gone through the same.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And back in the day, we used to have to order international, and you didn't know if the package was getting to you. You didn't know if they were just going to take your money. We just have to send them like a Western Union or a MoneyGram in those days to some dude over in some other country, and you didn't know. It was like if you got it, you were happy. It's just like you were happy, you were ecstatic if you got it, but you never know what can happen. So yeah, we've I think in both countries and in where Mobster lives is a lot more loose with their laws. It's been easier, but yeah, the U.S. and Australia are very similar to how things have improved, and the Evo forums is a great place to find the source. So how many on the Australian forum, how many members are really, would you say, are active right now? It's like what, 40, 50 active guys are there day in and day out. Plus there's hundreds of other people.
Be pushing up to 60 active members. Not all like we've probably got 10, 20. It'd be close to 30 plus logging.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Aussie at the moment, because with UGL ourselves, I think we've got over 10 bloggers.
And you've been a big part of that, because
Paul's got a couple, R&D.
Yep.
and Odin, all those guys have all got loggers. So yeah, it'd
Yep.
be in the 30s
We've
plus.
we've
Just
definitely
logging.
grown like on the Australian, because back when
Yeah.
I first came on Evo, when the site started, it was mostly American. And then now it's worldwide. We have people from all over the world, but a lot of
Yep.
Australians seem to. Why do you think so many Australians gravitate to Evo? Is it the environment? It's kind of like a fun environment where we kind of mess with each other, but it's also, like the no judgment zone where everybody supports each other. Nobody points their
Yes.
finger and says you suck. Everybody pushes each other. Like, why do you think a lot of Australians gravitate to Evo? Is it a combination of that, or is it something specific?
It's a combination of that as well, plus the sources and vendors on the Evo are a lot better than some of the other Aussie forums, we'd say. I don't know if you saw that post. I think it was someone posted in the Aussie section about ASF or something.
Yeah.
Yeah. So and the owner of that's a bloody scammer, and so.
Yeah, I saw that. And the comment this morning was, "This is just drama. You're the same person that came here 12 months ago. What the fuck? No one cares. It's already been sorted. Can we move on, please?" So
Yeah,
there's
that's what we
less
have to
drama,
deal with
less
all the time.
bullshit. Let's just have trusted sources. Let's have
Yes,
what, just for,
yeah,
again, for the benefit of new listeners, the reasons why we talk about some of these supported logs is because that's a way for members, listeners like yourself, to come on, look, for example, on Australian brand, on an Australian source, find someone that's logging products from that source and see the results that that logger is getting. In
yeah,
other words, a
yeah,
person like yourself, I've done this with UG Freak, for example. I think I was the first person to give them a go because they come on the forums and I put myself up for it. And you literally go, okay, I'm going to run their products. I'm going to see how my results are, and I'm going to post my pictures. I'm going to post my numbers, and you guys can see that the product they sent me is legit. It works, etc., etc. And that's one of the rates, not the only way, but it's one of the ways we find trusted sources. So the evolutionary thing is very much of all of that kind of stuff, in that you get to see. I say this at the end of shows. Come onto the forum, search for that brand, search for that lab, search for that source. Don't take our word for it. Find 5 or 6 logs or 10 logs, like you said, and you can't bullshit 10 logs. You can't bullshit the photographs of those 10 log members, and you can't bullshit the before and after pictures. That has to be legit. So you don't have to take our word for it. You can literally find. So that's the reason why we have that kind of stuff. The Australian sector is difficult, much like Steve said 5-10 years ago, maybe more in America, although it's calmed down since. So it can be a little bit volatile. People do come and go, but for the most part, especially with Evo, over time, trusted, tested, tried sources will stick around. They will support members like Pigsy, and that's the reason why that works out long term. There's a million places you can go to, but you'll find the places that support you and have trusted sources are the ones that are going to stay. The other ones are going to come and go. That's the nature of the beast. Talk a little
yeah.
bit about your own, sorry, mate, your own specific. I mean, this is your journey now. So your log currently and the stack you're doing currently, and tell the listeners why. What's the aim of your current log, and what's the reasons for you using the products that you're currently using?
Yep. Yeah. If you want to go over each, I see. Like I'll read what you post on October 20. So your latest log, it's up to 8 pages as of this podcast. And as I said at the beginning, you guys can follow along. It's called Pigsy's Journal to Legend with UGL Oz 2026. It is in his signature. So you started out 5 IUs HGH, which you plan on increase to 10 IUs, 8 IUs Nova Rapid insulin, 1,000 milligrams Test E, 600 milligrams Equipoise, 300 milligrams MPP, all daily. You're microdosing 16 weeks, and then you're also doing Anadrol 50 milligrams a day, weeks 1 through 4. And you're looking to be around 110 kilograms on stage weight. So did you change anything from that? And how do you like the cycle so far? And what are some of the highlights and lowlights that you can talk about?
Yeah, everything's going so good so far on that cycle. No issues at all. I haven't really changed anything. I might drop my test down to say 750, and leave it at that, and just see how I go.
Everything's okay on the
Um,
estrogen front? You're not getting any
yeah,
estrogen
everything's
issues?
fine.
Okay.
Everything's fine. Let's see.
You're not running
I
any
don't know,
AI.
about 120, something like that. About what's so I'd be around what's in the US numbers? Around the 80, I think. I think it works out to be 80
80,
E2.
82, what?
Yeah, 80 E2. So 80.
Okay. Your estrogen. Okay. That would be
Yeah, yeah.
above. Is our range is somewhere between like 15 to 35 area.
Oh, sorry, that's be the US one.
So
Yeah,
yours
so
is yours somewhere in the
yeah,
middle, you would say?
mine's been, it's about, I like it between 80 and 100
Okay.
for
So
myself.
maybe ours
That's
you
why I
like it
feel the
somewhere in
best.
the 20s. You like it.
That's the Aussie measurement. So all
So it
the
is it's balanced or is it like upper range?
uh,
Would that translate?
it's the higher end
Okay. So yeah,
of
I used to do that too back in the day too. I used to like it in the higher end. So you find yourself when you're
yeah,
in the
yeah.
higher end,
I feel the
you
best.
get
I've
okay.
dropped it into the 60s and 50s,
Okay.
say, and yeah,
You
I
didn't
didn't
feel as
feel the
good.
best.
Okay.
No,
Okay.
no.
And then when the talk about the HGH and insulin a little bit. So do you find that good that's a good ratio? The 5 IUs HGH with 8 IUs. And the insulin, you're just doing it pre-workout all at once or are you just kind of separating them?
Yeah, I just do mine just all around the just pre-workout.
Okay.
And then I use my intra drink. So I have a few carbs beforehand, before I train, and then I have an intra drink through my workout. Um, when I have a high day, I'll use a bit of Lantus as well, maybe 15 units in the evening.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
And how
And
has
the 5 units of growth is good, but I have to take all my growth in the evening. I've split it, and even say 2 IUs in the morning.
mhm.
Through the day, I'm just lethargic.
It gives you
Yeah.
maybe the water retention or
Mm.
something. Do you think that's what it
Yeah,
I
yeah,
is?
yeah.
remember reading, I seem
Mm.
to recall reading something to that effect the other day, and it might have been you that said it. They said that they did exactly the person I'm thinking, this thread that I saw, the reply was very much along those lines, and they said that they'd done exactly that. So it probably was you that said it. And we've talked about the benefits of growth hormone for obviously anabolically, the combination of steroids in terms of tissue regeneration, recovery from injury, but also people don't fail to understand the normal listener perhaps how beneficial, how much your body releases a lot of growth hormone when you're asleep, when you're recovering. So obviously the problem was, if they took it a certain particular way, as Pigsy's just described, they felt sleepy, lethargic, like they wanted to have a lie down and chill. But so we've done this also with MK677. You have the one that affects your appetite in the morning for the rest of the day, or if you take it at night time, it benefited your sleep. So this is the reasons why sometimes Pigsy's obviously discovered what's worked for him. He's realised that what works for him is to take it at the end of the day. Still going to recover, still going to get the additional benefits. But if you took it in the morning, and this is where we have these logs, finding out what works for you. If he took it in the morning or through the day, it just wasn't working. We're going to get into a little bit his workload, the stuff that he does for a living, etc., etc. I can't imagine some of the work that you've done, which we'll discuss later on, and feeling fucking tired all day, Pigsy, because you don't strike me as someone that's going to be sitting down for a rest and trying to sleep it off, etc., etc. I can do that half retired, but not with some of the days that you're able to put in. So that'd be no good for you whatsoever. So obviously you worked out what benefits you. You mentioned stage weight, so I'm going to ask the next question, obviously related to your log and your PEDs. You're obviously thinking about competing, and we have just had Madcap 71 on, who's recently competed. Will this? I forget, and I should know this. Is this going to be your first time on stage? Because you kind of look stage ready in the photographs I'm seeing,
I've
or is this going
done
to be your new one?
no, I've done 2, 3, I think five shows. So I didn't do. I've done 2018, 2000, 2001, 2002, 2003, 2004. So and in one of those, I did two different federations.
Okay.
And in my first show, I won in 2018.
Okay.
I only did the local show, and I won the Masters, and I won the Masters. I got first in the first timers, second in the novice, and I think fourth in the overall.
That's pretty fucking good, mate. To place that well across all of those classes, that's really good.
Yeah. I'll grab. I'll take some photos of all the medallions and trophies I've got and put it on my log, and then I can explain when I've got it. They're all here, so.
So what drives you to compete? Do you like the competition? Do you like the process? What do you not like about it? What is your favorite and what's your not favorite?
All right. Truthfully, what got me into competing was actual bet at the gym, because there was a guy there, Wayne, who I said that I was going to do the competition in there, and he goes, "There's no effing way that you'd make the comp, blah blah blah." And I said, "Well, let's put $1,000 on it then." So he took me up on it.
Oh, nice.
yeah, and I showed him what for. So that was an extra motivator. And then after the first comp went pretty well and everything, it sort of got the bug. I was meant to do this year, but we had some family issues, so I couldn't get the prep in properly. So I'll just give it a miss, because they were just when was that? The end of September past. You've seen a few Aussies competed in there in their logs. You'll see a few of them did very well.
Yep.
Yeah.
What's the toughest?
Then here locally, it was because last year I did the Universe as well. Well, the Universe was only this weekend.
Okay.
Here.
I was going to ask you, what's the toughest part of competing? Is it the prep? Is it the way you feel? Is it the sleeping?
Yeah.
What's the toughest for you?
Sometimes the hardest bit of prep is you become, let's say, isolated. You're sort of, and you don't go to you go to a family function if you're not part of it, because you'll take your own meals, this and that. People ask you to go to a party or something like that, you won't go.
I described this, and Madcap actually said something. So Madcap said the other day, he said bodybuilding, he's done different sports, but bodybuilding was the only sport that was 24 hours a day, especially when he's competing. And I've used this story of my last 2 weeks before my competitions, especially when I was kicking ass and taking names, etc., and winning titles and so on. My last 2 weeks were awful. And I didn't want any stress. I didn't want any aggravation. I didn't want to go nowhere. I didn't want to do nothing. I'd only concentrate on this one thing. And then, with like typical bodybuilder as well, the moment the competition's over, back to being myself, more what I'm normally like, etc. And it's very difficult for us to try to explain that to family and friends and people that are used to seeing you a certain way, because you are grinding, you're tired, you're hungry, you're cold because you're lean. Everything fucking aches, and they can't get their head around you sitting there with your chicken and your rice or whatever. They can't even get their head around the whole tanning and standing up on stage in a posing brief. And yet, when they see what you've achieved, when they see you get these results, when they see what the transformation, sometimes they can come around and go, now I get it. I see what the fuck Pigsy's doing. I understand why. But can we have Dad back, and can we have a beer and a cake or whatever else? But it can be very difficult for people outside to understand, and again, this is for the benefit of the listener, to understand why we do what we do, and especially when it comes to being on stage and competing, because that's the nth degree. You're part of, when you compete, a very small percentage of people that train and work out and want to look good, like less than 1%. And being in the kind of condition to win and place very high, like Pigsy's done, is even harder. Plenty of people get on stage, but very few people get to that final 1% again, and that super low body fat. So it can be very difficult for people who will understand it. And like Pigsy says, top pros have talked about this. Can't do family stuff, can't eat food, can't have to be very picky when you go to restaurants and stuff. There was even, I'll take a bit of a joke here with you, Pigsy. I think you were saying something the other day about you don't like having the birthday cake or whatever else, but when you did that picture recently, you had that tiny little cake with a couple of candles on. So, okay, I'm going to have this one fucking cake, but that's it. Don't take the piss. Don't give me a bigger cake. It's just one little cake. Yeah,
that's right. Yeah. Talking about preps, normally I do what they call season B, which is normally September, October. I did one that's in March, April, and my prep was through harvest, and that was bloody hard.
Oh, that's going to be
yeah, we're going to talk about...
I was getting up at 2:30, 3 a.m.
Yes.
To get my cardio in.
Wow.
Then go get to the farm at the first light, which is around 5 a.m.
Yep.
And then you'd work through to 3 to 4.
You're doing a long fucking day, mate.
Then I would train, and then I'd load up the truck and then deliver it. And then by the time it's about an hour each way, so there's 2 hours there. And then come home, then do another lot of cardio, and then I'll be in bed by 10:30.
So it sounds like between the work...
I said I was going to do it, so...
Yeah. And farmers
but it wasn't the best.
And farmers are really hardworking. So we'll talk about the farming in a little bit, but I want to touch also on Trenbolone, because on your prior logs, when I was looking over your prior logs, I saw you were using Trenbolone previously, but not on this current one. Is there a reason for that, or is it just you don't like Tren anymore?
No, I like Tren. I just don't see a need for it at the moment. You know, I'll probably use it for the next one. So I'll do this one for 16, have a bit of time off, and then get into my prep. And then I'll probably bring it in the last 8 to 10 weeks.
Okay.
Of my prep.
What about the DHT, the Winstrolls, the Masterons, the Provirant? Are you going to be jacking those up?
Well, in Australia, Masteron's hard to get at the moment.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's off the table.
Otherwise, I'll be using it now.
Okay.
I'd use it even.
So Winstrol,
on my cruise, I'd use, say, 250 test, 100 Masteron. I just like the feel and the look. More, sort of keeps you looking pretty good. The Masteron I'll bring in for the whole time I'm there. So for my 16-week, I'll probably start 20 weeks prep, and I'll probably start kicking the anabolics in pretty hard from about the 16 weeks out.
So if you couldn't get the Masteron...
Winstrol, I'll add in probably 4 to 5 weeks out.
Okay.
So I'll probably go as high as 100 meg of Winstrol.
And then the Provirant, is that gonna be a possibility without, if you can't get Masteron?
I haven't really used Provirant that much.
Okay.
It's not that readily available here.
Oh, okay. Okay, gotcha. And then Anavar?
Can get it, it's what we say, bang for buck. It's pretty expensive.
What about Anavar or Toronto Ball? Are those options for you? Do you like those, or are you not a big fan?
I've used them in the past. T-Ball I've used once.
Not a big fan.
And Anavar a couple of times, but like I said, the Anavar Raws at the moment
that's tough.
Are difficult. Yeah, because even I think my sponsor UGL Oz has just run out, and they're just waiting on restocking.
Okay. Yeah. So in terms of hardening,
when it's available, it's very popular.
You like it. Okay. In terms of hardening orals, Winstrol is probably your best bet right now.
I think the first one I got, because I think I was talking to Mobster about it a while back, and the first lot I used must have been bunk, because I got nothing at all.
Yeah.
And then later on, I got some, and it was. It was like night and day.
I use that story, haven't I?
Night and day.
Fake debowl versus the real debowl. 10 days of fake debowl, nothing. And the moment the legitimate stuff turned up, £1 a day for 4 days in the first 4 days. And I was like, oh, this is real. That was shit. and that still happens. Definitely the issue with Masteron, and as you just heard, listeners, the Provaron, Masteron is still a short supply here. I've got loads, but that's by the by. Provaron is, again, it's just as Pigsy just said, because it's difficult getting product into Australia. They're only going to bring in what works and what sells, and as he just said, gives them bang for the buck. If it's not as wide open and availability of across the spectrum isn't what it is. Plus, there are primo shortages, master shortages, as we do this show. That is
let me ask Pigsy, based on what he's been hearing out of Australia and other things, this shortage that we've been going through with Primo and Masteron, what do you think is the basis for that? Do you have any inside knowledge on that you want to share, or do you not know?
I think it's I'm only going on what everyone else is saying, that the government is just cracking down on all the factories.
Yeah.
And there's just
the government in China, or the government
of producing raws. But the thing is that I don't know if you noticed, but a lot of the Chinese are trying to just sell finished product.
Yeah.
So they want to sell their oils. They got plenty of that to sell. But the risk of bringing in oils, the pre-made oils, is just way higher.
Yeah.
You know, they'll get done like 90% of the time coming in.
Okay.
I saw a post on one of the other forums that associate with,
I think it was Anabolics. Anabolics has it there.
I saw.
I think they have a Chinese section.
Yeah, he said something about oils, etc., etc. And I said, obviously, the raws is what people are making product from. There was some argument about some restrictions as a way of forcing the price. I know that some of the factories have had issues with the legal side in China. And then, as you said, at the same time, part of the reason why they might suppress supply, this is one of the other reasons, was the idea of coming into finished product. But they've got a huge amount of competition in finished products. So that part of the market's probably going to be resistant. Look, just for the benefit of the listeners, again, in very simple terms, customs in Australia, products being seized is very much harder than probably any other sector of the market, certainly the domestic US market, and to a lesser degree here in the UK market. And so the difficulty of getting product in makes it difficult. You're much quicker and it's more noticeable when products go short for the same reason, and so on and so forth. Let's move on a little bit. You mentioned the idea of prepping during your harvesting. For the benefit of the listeners again, all right, two things. Pigsy owns a vineyard, and there are times of the year when the grapes are ready, those fucking things have got to come off the vine. And Steve touched on the work ethic sometimes of farmers, of growers like yourself. I've seen you talk about 12-hour days, 14 hours, 15-hour days. When the grapes got to come off, the grapes got to come off. And so training at the crack of dawn, or before the crack of dawn even.
Yeah. Mobster, you're talking like you're a grape expert on this.
Well, no, because I saw what he was doing, and I've had to do the long ass days and stuff way back in the day and still go to the gym.
I don't think you guys can even grow anything in Britain. Aren't you guys like...
Oh, we've got a couple of vineyards. Mate, there's plenty of water and nice green dirt and stuff, but the sunshine, not so much. But listen, I read Pigsy's log a couple of years ago, and he was doing between 15 and 18-hour days, and that is non-stop.
Let him tell us
about how fucking hard. Yeah, tell us about that lifestyle and training at the same time.
All right. Well, you go. I don't work those many hours all year round. It's for around
just when you harvest.
Nearly 4 months of the year. So from December all the way to April is that section. Like,
didn't you say, Pigsy?
Last year we started harvest on Boxing Day. Sometimes it's mid-January. It just depends on the weather. Like this year has been the lead up's been cold, so it's maybe later.
When do you harvest? It's your summer, right? That you harvest?
Yes, yeah. So our summer begins in another couple of.
And in America, California is the grape state. When does California harvest? Spring, or is it?
They're harvesting right now.
So right now is like we're going into winter.
Yeah, well, that'd be just sort of coming to the end.
Okay, because our winter starts end of
grape
December.
varieties. So
So
they'll be
why do
picking
they?
things like
So why do they harvest at a different time than you guys? Is it because the
well,
weather?
because they're summer. Because we're southern hemisphere, they're
Yeah,
northern
yeah.
hemisphere.
But besides
Yeah,
that,
that's all. That's the only
there's
difference.
okay. That is okay. So that's really the only difference. Okay,
When the
gotcha.
fruit's ready,
Yeah,
Steve. I mean, something you said, Pigsy, wasn't it? You said something about 80, 2/3 or 80% of your income comes from those 3 months hard work, the long fucking
That's
day.
true. Yes, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So
So it's super important.
in that time,
Yeah.
yeah, it's about 80% of income comes through there,
Yeah.
and the rest of my income, the rest of the thing, it comes from other things like tractor work for other people.
Yeah.
People will pay you to pick things up in your truck and things like that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
So
you can make that you normally on the off season you can pick up work here and there
so when I
on
went
that way.
so recently, my grocery store, they're in season. Grapes, I get the organic grapes in season. There's black grapes, white grapes, and wait, they're like
We
greenish
call them
white.
green, but they're white. I think that here they just
Yeah.
call them in the
So there's
supermarkets.
three.
It's just
There's the
black,
red, white, and black,
red,
right?
and white.
Why are there three different types, and what are the differences, and which one is most healthy, or are they all the same, you think?
They're all the same
They're just different colors.
as such, but here white grapes are more popular,
Hmm.
then red, and then black is the least popular.
But there's no
But in other
difference in
cultures,
the
it can be the other way around.
okay,
So it
but
just
there's no
depends on where you
health.
live and what country you live with to what they like. See, Asians like the
Yeah.
blacks.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
All that flavour and all the colour, Steve, comes from the skin, mate. So it's if you peeled the grape, what you get inside's the same. Yeah.
Because my
And there's a little
girlfriend
bit of
likes the
sugar in it.
white and I like the red ones, and she
Yeah, me
gets
and all
mad
that.
at me when I ate her grapes. So that's why I was
yeah,
wondering. So you grow which
yeah.
ones? You grow the red ones, right, or the white ones?
I grow all of them.
Oh,
So
okay.
I grow. So our white one is I have autumn crisp, which is a big one. It's like nearly the size of a plum,
All right.
very crunchy. And then I have Adora, which is a black,
Okay.
and then Sonera, which is a red.
Okay. What about the
Flame,
cotton
which is an
candy
early red,
grapes? Those
and
cotton.
then I have another one called Autumn King. And then I also have wine grapes, which is old, like the vines are about 75 years old.
Yeah.
Shiraz.
So they use those for wine. Those types of special
Yeah,
grapes.
The Shiraz they use for wine. But
Okay.
um, a friend of mine comes with his, I don't know if you've seen the photos of Big Red, the
Yes.
harvester. He'll come in and then he'll go pick the whole lot in one night.
Nice. One of the things I want to talk to you about.
Before that area would take a week. So if we had 8 workers come in and pick, it'll take a week to pick, and that thing can do it in 4 hours.
So it's got to be done. I want to talk to you a little bit about on Pigsy's vineyard, on his land holdings. And you mentioned going to the gym before, but you have an epic. I've got a really, really good home gym. But ironically, I haven't fucking used it in months. And I've even got machines here that I brought that I haven't used. But you've got a really, really good big space, epic old school Nautilus equipment type gym. Talk a little bit about how that came together and the reasons why. I mean, I know why I got my home gym, but talk about the reasons why you got yours and some of the stuff that you've got in there and the difference it's made to you, especially when you're working those hours and seasonal work, etc., that you have to do.
Yeah, well, I just had to start with. I just had an old Smith machine, a weight cage, and a bench and a couple of dumbbells and the barbell. That's how I started. And then I just used to train here at home, on and off, but very rarely. I might train, 2-3 times a month before I join the gym.
Yeah.
Then when we built the shed in 2016, I think we built that one. I built it as big as I could possibly build the shed without going into that's as big as I can go without going into the industrial side.
Yes.
Yeah, the restrictions. And if I go industrial, it would have cost nearly twice as much. So even going a couple of meters would have cost more, because then it would have to put in fire doors, fire hydrants, double walled, and it would have cost nearly double.
It's different classifications. So if it'd been
bigger,
it would have been different classification for planning.
It goes into like what they call industrial. And then you've got all the other rules.
So this ties into that, and also the farming. What kind of dangers are there out there in terms of like tornadoes and weather, droughts, floods, all kinds of stuff like that? Has there been anything over the past 10 years?
No, we mainly, our biggest fear is
rodents.
Like no, not really. More heat waves.
Okay, heat waves. Okay.
And also, if you get grapes don't like rain in the summer, when near harvest time, you don't want any rain at all. You want it dry.
Okay. Gotcha.
Our biggest issue is
the heat.
Birds. We have this introduced bird called a rainbow lorikeet. It's a very pretty bird. If you see, it's only a small thing, and they swarm. They're like flying rats. They're one of the only birds that can produce young 3 times a year.
Yeah.
So you have snakes on your farm in Australia, correct me if I'm wrong?
Snakes, yeah, I saw one the other week. I think I posted it.
But you need to have those
normally
to eat the birds, right? You need to have those to eat the birds and eat the rodents, or else you have problems, right?
Unfortunately, they don't. We don't. We have these things called kites.
Yes.
Like they're like a little hawk. They call them kites.
Yeah, we've got kites. We've got kites and buzzards.
There's not many of them, but they'll take out the lorikeets, right? While they're flying, they'll grab them. Okay, but there's not enough kites. So the government here so you can ring up and get a shooter in to shoot them. And also the government will pay for your ammunition.
Where did those birds come from? They came from Asia, or
they're introduced. They're from Queensland, another state.
Oh my goodness!
So
okay.
they were just pets. So people just the pets that escaped.
Wow. So they didn't fly there from Queensland. That's crazy. Okay.
Yeah.
We have a problem.
So that's our biggest thing, and then also we have an insect here called mealybug.
All right.
Which is like a little. It's tiny. It's like a little.
Okay.
A little white thing that lives in the bark, and they produce. They go into the berry, inside the cluster, and then they just produce all these little white. So be all these white specks in there, little insects. Oh, so that's our main thing. But we use, and unfortunately, you have to use chemicals to deal with them. But a lot of it's through irrigation. So we feed it through the roots, and it becomes systemic. So the actual plant takes it up, and then the plant, the mealybug will eat the plant and then die.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think
we have to do a lot of MRI. So on every variety we pick, the first harvest, we have to take in a sample, and it gets MRI tested.
Okay.
And one more to meet the standards of the MRI, otherwise it's kicked out.
Okay. So one more question, just
we also have a maturity standard. So the grape has to be a certain sweetness.
Yeah.
And if it doesn't meet that, it's kicked out as well. We're the only state in Australia that has that.
So one more question, just for the Americans. I mean, and this is a fun one before we move on. Kangaroos. You have kangaroos hopping around your farm, or is that in another place?
Yeah, we don't have because I used to have another farm before we sold it. And that one got riddled with it because it was right next to a golf course. So I used to eat a lot of. I still do eat a bit of kangaroo, but I used to knock one or two off and then butcher them up.
So what's the rule on that? You can just shoot them if they're on your farm and eat them, or is there?
Yeah, you have to. Well, legally, you have to go and get from the government. You get tags.
Yeah. Okay.
So they'll give you so many tags. So last time, when the old farm, I think the last time I got 50 tags.
Wow.
And then the shooters came in. They did that in 1 hour.
Okay, but they have to do it humanely.
And then what they do, they go and collect them all, and then they just take them away for like pet food.
Okay, gotcha.
I'm a bit worried about
taking out the the guys would take out the hearts, and then they would send them to the university because they were doing studies on valve replacements instead of using pigs.
Oh,
They're
okay.
looking into using kangaroos.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that. That's
Kangaroos don't
cool.
have any cholesterol, so they're very low in cholesterol, and their veins and stuff and blood vessels are sort of resistant to whole cholesterol.
Oh, wow.
So
That's great
I'm a bit worried
information. I had no clue.
I'm a bit worried about you, Steve, because you've got this cultural idea of what Australia's like, and you've got Pigsy here talking about the science and the restrictions.
Because we watch Crocodile Dundee, so we think
that's what I'm on about, mate. That movie's 30 years old.
No. We have we have kangaroos, but you might only see one or two at the other farm, and occasionally you'll get the emu.
Okay,
you know,
I've seen those on farms
like
here.
it's more than the ostrich.
Yeah, but do they attack? They don't attack people, right? The emus, they don't attack people too much, right?
No, not too much. Yeah. No, they normally just run away.
Okay. So let's move on to the tips and tricks for bodybuilding. So can you give some of the guys out there? Let's start, with where you were before, obese, over 30%.
What have you learned that other people could do with learning?
What's some tips you can give to guys listening to this who may be in that situation to help them turn it around mentally, physically, anything they can do, lifestyle?
Well, I think the main thing is putting together and setting a time apart in the day, or so many days a week. Put that time aside, an hour here, or say three. Even if you just do 3 times a week, put that time aside, and that's your time at the gym, and do it. Also, what's important is food prep.
Yeah.
So you don't put it aside. You put your meals aside. Normally I do a cook breakfast, and then I have 3 set meals that I've prepped, and then when I come home, then I'll cook another meal. So that at least you have something fresh, that it's not all coming out of the freezer. And because I have chickens and stuff, so I have my own eggs.
Nice.
For breakfast and things like that. My brother had bees, so I have good honey, stuff like that.
So farm fresh stuff is what you recommend guys get.
Is not to get frustrated, because what I see is we're living in a now generation, and a lot of people want to see progress very quickly, and it's not quick. And it's a slow progress over time. And you've got to look, take your weekly or monthly photos and just stick with it.
Pace yourself.
You're only losing. So if you're training and you're trying to lose weight, at the beginning, your weight loss is quite quick. Your first week, you might lose a few kilos. A lot of it's just water and stuff like that. And then it just slowly slows down. And then you don't want to get frustrated with it. Okay, that's good tips. And same with your strength of the gym. When you first start, your strength goes quickly, and then it gets stagnant. If you can go a couple of months, you might not even be able to push past that weight for a while. Okay. Either through tired or what. Sometimes you just need a deload for a week or 2 and then get back at it, and then you push again. You add another kilo here, a kilo there on the weights, and you're fine. Okay. Yeah. So
pace yourself and
sticking with it. And it's just not getting frustrated with if you're not seeing progress.
And then doing a log on Evo, how has that helped you personally and motivated you to keep going?
Well, when I first started, I think I did my first log. I think that was for my first comp. It really does help a lot. The encouragement you get and this and that, and people saying, wow, you changed so much. It's a great motivation. And it also helps with you being accountable, so and put it in there, and then you actually can see, wow, this week I've actually put on 5 kilos on my bench press, and I've done extra reps here, or I've added in drop sets, or someone will go, Mr. Lev goes, you need more protein, things like that. So everyone's in there encouraging you, saying, oh, give this a go, give that a go. If they see something that should maybe needs to change, so it does help a lot, very, very much.
What is something people can do on a day-to-day basis? Do you recommend fasted cardio? Do you recommend any cardio?
Oh, man, I do fasted cardio all year round.
So every morning, what do you recommend? You do it
at least 40 to 45 minutes every morning.
Every morning, first thing? Okay.
Yeah,
and that's helped you a lot.
That sort of, it sort of, I don't know, it sort of wakes up the body and gets the body ready for the work ahead. That's how I find it anyway. Okay. So normally I get up, do my 45 minutes, then wait around 40 minutes to have my breakfast, and then get ready to go to work.
Beautiful, beautiful. Now, touch a little bit. We have a few minutes left. Touch on now tips and advice for those who thinking out about getting into competing. What are some mistakes you made when you first got into competing that you look back, you're like, man, I can't believe I did that? And some advice you can give to people who can get the most out of their first few competitions.
Oh, well, the first one is normally the most difficult. It's just keeping motivated. That when you're tired, run down. Mm-hmm. Also, what's important with the that gets missed a lot in competition is posing practice.
Oh, okay.
It's no good standing there.
It's funny, we had Madcap on.
You walk out there and they go, wow, look at that guy. First walks out there, then you pose, and then you get someone who's not
That's what Madcap told us. Look as good,
but when they pose, they outpose you, and then you get flogged. You get beaten.
Yeah, because Madcap
through lack of posing, and presenting yourself, because it's almost like a beauty pageant. You got to present yourself. If you're not presenting yourself, it doesn't matter how good you are. Look, you could get beaten.
Because we had Madcap on over the weekend. He just said the same thing. His last competition, his posing was bad. He didn't do good. Then 2 weeks later, he did another competition and he got 6th place in a really tough competition just because he improved his posing in that 2 weeks.
Yeah, well,
so that's amazing.
It's a lot, It's like, you say in a back lat spread, you're not getting the full lats out or something, so your taper's not right, or
so did you hire a coach to help you?
Things like that, you're stuck. You're pushing your elbows too far forward and not back, and stretching out. And
how did you improve your posing? Did you hire a coach, or did you talk to the judge or something? How'd you do that?
Yeah, I went and saw a posing coach.
Okay.
So I go once a week for an hour and a half, and do a couple of rounds, and then you would come home and do the same. So it's hard work. So what you do is normally I would do it after training when you're exhausted, and do say 3 or 4 rounds.
Nice.
After training, because when you're on stage, you're tired and everything like that. So you've got to get that endurance.
Yes.
You'll notice even on the Olympia, you'll notice some will fade, and others will. The more they pose, the better they get, and others will start off good and then fade out.
Yeah. One of the things, Steve,
that's one of the most important things for if you want to compete is the posing.
Even our former IFBB pro here, literally on more than one occasion, has turned around and said, I heard you made the routine up when I went on stage. And I think the only reason he was able to get away with that because he was ripped the fucking dry for a small bodybuilder, for a short bodybuilder. You can't do that at the top level. His best place, I believe, in the Olympia was like 18th out of 20. But that's because he was 160-something pounds up against 200-plus pounders. But you can't, at that level, everybody else is training hard. Everybody else is eating clean. Everybody else is doing what you're doing. So you've got to go out there like you fucking own it. And then you've got to just be aware of the best. And I even said this, I think, to Jack D42. I says, you've got small changes. And I say this to the guys all the time on the forum. presenting elbows forward or elbows back on double biceps, elbows up or elbows down on double bicep will change your physique. And one thing that people forget, and I'm sure you know this already, pose for the judges first, then pose for the audience. Because the judges are the fuckers that are going to decide your placing. So, but present them with your physique, it's things like that.
So normally during your pre-judging, you do all your posing to the judges. That's very important, right? And you need to start at this. So you position yourself, and if you're at the end, looking at the center judge, because he controls everything.
Yeah.
So one of the things, and then you'll do like a side chest. So you aim it at him, and then you rotate.
Yes, and then up and down. That's it. Yeah. So
right?
all the judges.
But you really got to concentrate on the center judge, because he sort of controls the other judges, especially in the local levels.
Yeah, if they've got 12 judges, a person on the left and a person on the right is not going to see what you're presenting. Very briefly, as we come into the end of the show, tell us a couple of your favourite logs, ones that you go to on a regular basis that catch your eye and that you enjoy reading.
Let's see. I follow yours, Mobster, because I like the strength stuff, even though I give you shitter sometimes about it. I like the strong stuff. Let's see, who else? There's heaps. I follow, I like some of the American logs, like Beamy and Harley Guy and all those Van Life and stuff. Yeah. But as an Aussie, I sort of follow all the Aussie lads as well. So all of those guys. Which is good.
Just recently for myself.
It's quite good, because we've got some women now.
Yes, that's what I was going to say.
Women now from Australia, which is real good. We had IFBB Pro.
Yes, that's the one I'm thinking of.
Was it Jigglypuff or what? Jigglybuff as well. She lives around my area, so she's a competitive bodybuilder, and there's a few more now coming on. Tay.
We need more women for sure. Yep.
Which is good. It's good to see.
Do you know her personally, or she lives in your area?
No. I've never met her. I just know that she's a local, because she's from I think she's originally from Singapore.
Oh, okay.
All right.
Maybe you guys.
But I know that she's like local here now. I've met who have I met? I went and trained with Ben 10.
Okay.
Yes.
He logs. He's a big lad, because he's I'm only 5'8". He's 6'3".
He's okay.
So I trained with him once, and I think we're going to hit up another session in another couple of weeks with another. I can't remember his name, but there's a new member who's only just joined Evo. He's a big fellow as well. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think I know what you're talking about.
We used to call those meetups, and we would normally go almost as a group and have 8 or 9 people from a forum meet up, go and train, work out, talk shit, and then go and have a bit of food after for shits and giggles. But again, because we're such an international forum,
is it Road Kingsley? Yeah. Road Kingsley, is that the guy? Is that his name?
Yeah, that's him. Yeah, he's one of them, and there's another one that's just joined as well.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah.
Any final words from Pigsy for the forum? You mentioned earlier on the way it's helped you. That I said obviously the way that you help. Any final words from Pigsy towards the forum itself? A message from you, if you like. Whatever you want to say before we finish the show.
All right. Well, this is from Pigsy to all the Evo family. Just to get out there, hit the gym, hit your macros, and live life to the fullest. And just enjoy life. Don't let things get you down. Just try and be positive, and be positive to all the other members on the forum as well.
Yeah.
It's a lot of Evo love here.
Yes. The community vibe, especially as I said at the beginning of the show, with people like Pigsy, seems to be growing and growing and growing beyond what would normally be on a forum, beyond what we've done in the past. And I think the support, especially the last 5-6 months has grown enormously, helped by members like yourself, Pigsy, encouraging that, stopping the bullshit, pushing things in the right direction, helping the Oz guys. And as I said earlier in the show, bringing it onto the open forum, the American members. I think we've really, really enjoyed having people like yourself on for these interviews. Just again, for the benefit of the American listeners, it's very, very, very late. I would be in bed many hours ago, Pigsy. I go to bed.
Put it this way, I'm not only in bed by 9.
Yeah,
and it's now 1:05. And then,
It's fucking that, mate. I'm normally in bed at 8 and asleep by 9. So yeah, it's a long fucking day, which is another reason why I want to say again, thank you so much for coming on, Pigsy, and so much for everything you do. Any final words from you, Steve, before we finish it?
No, thank you. Yeah, Pigsy, you're a big part of the EVO family as well, and you're doing a great job with the Aussie. So I always tell the Aussies that come on, like, that ask me sources. I said, hey, go to Pigsy. He's the man on that. So go to him. He'll take care of you.
Thanks again, guys. As always, please note we are not doctors, and your opinions are ours. It is our view and based on our experience and views on the topic. A podcast for informational purposes and entertainment only. The freedom of speech and the First Amendment applies.